Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update from NFL News Now. The Dallas Cowboys have always been one of those teams that seem to live in the center of the NFL universe. Whether they're riding high on a winning streak or dealing with another wave of criticism, America's team never escapes the spotlight. And now, after a bold trade deadline that saw them land defensive tackle Quinnen Williams and linebacker Logan Wilson, that spotlight just got even brighter. The Cowboys are, without question, more talented than they were a few weeks ago, but as every Dallas fan knows, this franchise isn't measured by mid-season moves. It's measured by championships. And while the front office deserves credit for going all in, there are still cracks in the armor that need to be addressed if this team wants to truly dominate the NFC again. That's where the 2026 NFL Draft comes into play, and a new mock draft from Nick Baumgardner of The Athletic has given Cowboys Nation plenty to think about. With 2 first-round picks to play with, one of them courtesy of the Green Bay Packers, the Cowboys have a rare opportunity to plug 2 major holes that have been haunting them all season: an inconsistent edge rush and a secondary that has struggled to contain even average passing attacks. Baumgardner's projections paint a picture of a defense being reimagined on the fly, and if his predictions are anywhere close to reality, Dallas fans might just have a reason to believe this team's Super Bowl window isn't closing. It's being rebuilt, piece by piece. At pick number 11, Baumgardner has the Cowboys selecting David Bailey, the explosive edge rusher from Texas Tech who has terrorized Big 12 quarterbacks all season long. Bailey's numbers jump off the page: 13 sacks and 55 pressures in just 9 games, a ridiculous pace that's earned him comparisons to some of the most athletic pass rushers in recent college memory. For a Cowboys defense that's been inconsistent at generating heat off the edge, Bailey represents exactly what they've been missing: pure, unfiltered explosiveness. The kind of player who doesn't just collapse the pocket, he detonates it. With Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark anchoring the middle, adding a pass rusher like Bailey could transform the Cowboys' front 7 from solid to terrifying. Let's be honest, losing Micah Parsons was a body blow that no team could take lightly. Parsons wasn't just a player. He was a system all by himself, the kind of rare talent who made everyone else on the field better by sheer gravitational force. His departure left Dallas scrambling to fill the void, and while Donovan Ezeraku has shown flashes of being a reliable starter, he hasn't yet proven he can be the kind of game-changer offenses have to game plan around. Bailey, with his raw power and freakish bend around the edge, could be the perfect complement. Pair him with Ezeraku on the outside and let Williams collapse the pocket from the inside, and suddenly opposing quarterbacks might start feeling claustrophobic before the ball is even snapped. Baumgardner described Bailey as electric, and that word feels like an understatement when you watch him play. His get-off at the snap is lightning fast, the kind of burst that makes tackles panic and quarterbacks' internal clock speed up. He's not just a speed rusher either. He's got a nasty bull rush and a surprising amount of discipline for a college player who thrives on chaos. If you're Dan Quinn, or whoever ends up leading the Cowboys defense into 2026, this is the kind of cornerstone piece you can build around for the next decade. The best part? Bailey's a Texas Tech product. Keeping a homegrown Texas talent in-state to wreak havoc for the Cowboys just feels right. It's a story fans in Arlington would eat up instantly. Now, let's pivot to the second pick, number 28 overall, acquired from the Packers, where Dallas addresses another major weakness: the cornerback position. The selection? Mansour Delane from LSU, a name that's been quietly climbing draft boards all year. Delane isn't flashy in the highlight reel sense, but if you love consistency, technique, and mental sharpness, this is your guy. As Baumgardner put it, Delane has been one of the few consistently bright spots for LSU this year, and that statement carries weight. On a defense that's been torched more than once in SEC play, Delane has been the steadying force, the corner who doesn't bite on double moves, who tackles in space, and who refuses to get beat twice by the same route. That's exactly what the Cowboys' secondary needs. Dallas's secondary, frankly, has been a headache all season. While Darren Bland has developed into a legitimate playmaker with his ball-hawking instincts, the depth chart behind him has been shaky at best. Injuries, blown coverages, and inconsistent safety play have turned what used to be a strength into a liability. Drafting Delane wouldn't just give them another capable starter, it would give them options. Pairing Delane with Bland and Siobhan Revel could give Dallas a trio that finally brings balance and reliability back to the back end of their defense. It's not the flashiest move, but it's the kind that wins games in December and January when every third down feels like life or death. Delane's greatest strength is his football IQ. He's not the biggest corner in the class, but his ability to diagnose plays before they happen makes him feel a step faster than he actually is. He mirrors receivers like he's reading their minds, and he has a natural feel for route concepts that lets him anticipate breaks rather than react to them. On top of that, he's a strong tackler, something the Cowboys desperately need in a secondary that has missed too many open field stops this season. He's the kind of player who might not lead the league in interceptions, but he'll quietly erase one side of the field, and every defensive coordinator in the league dreams of having a guy like that. It's also worth noting that with the addition of Williams and Wilson from the trade deadline, the Cowboys have started to redefine their defensive identity. They're not just trying to outscore teams anymore. They're trying to suffocate them. The old bend but don't break mentality that's haunted this franchise in recent years seems to be fading, replaced by something meaner, something hungrier. And this mock draft fits right into that philosophy. Bailey and Delane aren't finesse players, they're tone setters. They bring physicality, aggression, and a relentless attitude that could finally give Dallas the defensive edge it's been missing since the peak of the Parsons era. Of course, none of this guarantees success. Drafts are a gamble. Every pick is a roll of the dice. Cowboys fans have seen this movie before. The hype, the promise, the belief that this time, it's different. But there's something about this version of the Dallas front office that feels more calculated, more self-aware. They know the offensive line is aging. They know Dak Prescott needs better protection and more help, but they also know that defense wins in the postseason. You can't rely on 30-point shootouts to survive in January. You need dogs on defense, players who thrive when the temperature drops and the lights get bright. And if we're being real, the idea of a defensive core built around Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, Logan Wilson, Donovan Ezraku, and David Bailey up front, with Delane and Bland locking things down in coverage, is a scary one. That's a lineup that could give even elite offenses nightmares. It's a group built for versatility, able to switch between 4-3 and 3-4 fronts, disguise blitzes, and force turnovers. It's not hard to imagine that unit becoming one of the league's best within a year or two. So while it's easy to roll your eyes at mock drafts in November, this one feels different. It feels purposeful. It feels like a glimpse into what the Cowboys might actually be trying to build, a defense-first identity with speed, youth, and controlled chaos. Nick Baumgardner might not have a crystal ball, but if Dallas comes anywhere close to landing the kind of talent he's predicting, the future in Arlington could be something special. The road ahead is long. The playoffs, free agency, and all the drama that comes with being the Dallas Cowboys will play out before April even arrives. But for now, Cowboys fans can dream a little. They can imagine a future where Bailey is flying off the edge, Delane is locking down the boundary, and Quinnen Williams is bullying centers in the middle. A future where the Cowboys aren't just talented, they're terrifying. And if that happens, if this mock draft vision becomes reality, then maybe, just maybe, America's team will finally look like the kind of team that can bring another Lombardi trophy back to Dallas. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. Hold on to your hats, folks, because the NFL rumor mill is spinning faster than ever this week, and it seems the Dallas Cowboys are officially turning heads. Word on the street, and yes, it's buzzing like a hornet's nest, is that Brian Burns, the ferocious edge rusher whose name has been echoing through draft rooms and free agency talks for years, has reportedly signed with the Cowboys. Now, before you jump to conclusions, let's unpack what this could mean, because if the whispers are true, Dallas isn't just adding a player. They're signaling the dawn of a whole new defensive era, one that could very well shake the NFC to its core. The chatter started quietly, with insiders dropping hints about secret meetings, phone calls that lasted into the early hours, and tweets disappearing almost as quickly as they appeared. But now, all signs point to Burns suiting up in silver and blue. And let me tell you, fans are losing their minds over it. Brian Burns isn't just any addition. He's the kind of player who changes the identity of a defense almost overnight. His combination of speed, strength, and sheer motor is the kind of nightmare for quarterbacks that makes fantasy analysts weep with joy. The Cowboys, already known for their ambitious moves in the front seven, might have just turbocharged their defensive line into an elite-tier force, the kind of unit that doesn't just make games competitive, but turns them into defensive showcases week after week. Sources close to the team suggest that negotiations weren't exactly straightforward. Apparently, Burns had multiple suitors, teams reportedly willing to throw big money and long-term guarantees onto the table, but Dallas played the cards right, reportedly offering not just a financial package but a vision, a promise that he would be the cornerstone of a new defensive philosophy. Rumor has it that Burns himself was swayed by the idea of being a leader, a face of a defense that's expected to challenge the league's offensive juggernauts, especially in the NFC East, where quarterbacks seem to be having a renaissance of their own. And the timing? Perfect. The Cowboys have been quietly rebuilding their defensive identity for years, and it seems the front office decided that a statement signing was overdue. Adding Burns isn't just about sacks, pressures, or tackles. It's about sending a message, a bold proclamation that Dallas isn't settling for mediocrity. They're aiming to dominate. Insiders have been hinting that the atmosphere around the team is electric, and if you've been following the Cowboys closely, you know that the locker room dynamics have been under the microscope for some time. Adding a player like Burns isn't just a statistical upgrade, it's a cultural one. The defensive backfield, linebackers, and even the coaching staff are rumored to be rallying around this signing as a turning point, a moment when the narrative around Dallas's defense could shift from being inconsistent to being downright feared. There's talk that the defensive coordinator has already started reimagining schemes, looking at ways to maximize Burns' talents, twists, stunts, and alignment changes designed to turn him into a constant nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. And if the whispers about leadership are true, Burns isn't just expected to perform. He's expected to mentor, to push the younger players to new heights, and to embody a mentality that screams toughness, resilience, and relentless pursuit of victory. The timing of this signing also fuels speculation about the Cowboys' larger strategy. Are they planning to go all in for the next season, putting every piece in place to finally break the pattern of playoff heartbreaks? Some insiders suggest that the front office sees this as more than a defensive move. It's a foundational shift. With Burns in the mix, paired with the existing defensive line talent and linebackers who have shown flashes of brilliance, the rumor mill is running wild with talk that Dallas might be building one of the most feared defenses in the NFC. Picture this: quarterbacks sweating under relentless pressure, running backs navigating a defensive front that's both disciplined and explosive, and a secondary that now has the freedom to be aggressive because they trust the pass rush to cover them. It's a tantalizing prospect, and fans can't stop speculating about how this will translate into wins. And let's not ignore the off-field buzz. Social media is already ablaze with leaks, rumors, and insider takes that suggest the signing of Burns could influence the market for other free agents. If Dallas is willing to invest heavily in one elite defender, could that pave the way for more big names to consider the Cowboys? Could this signal the beginning of a trend where Dallas becomes the ultimate destination for players who want to compete at the highest level while also being part of a high-profile, ambitious rebuild? Industry chatter certainly seems to think so. Some analysts are even suggesting that Burns' presence could tilt game day strategies across the league, forcing opposing coordinators to rethink protection schemes and offensive timing, knowing that a disruptive force is now lurking on the Cowboys' defensive line. The rumor mill isn't just hinting at a single signing. It's whispering about a ripple effect that could redefine how teams approach the NFC East. Of course, as with all rumors, there's a healthy dose of skepticism. Contract details, guarantees, and incentives are often murky at this stage, and nothing official has been confirmed by the Cowboys front office. But when you follow the breadcrumbs, the tweets that vanish, the cryptic social media posts from agents, the subtle nods during interviews, it paints a picture that's hard to ignore. Burns in Dallas isn't just a pipe dream. It's a story unfolding in real time, a tale that fans, insiders, and rival teams are all watching with bated breath. And if these rumors solidify into reality, the narrative of the Cowboys' defense will instantly shift from promising but inconsistent to legitimately dangerous, a transformation that could be the difference between another frustrating playoff exit and a deep, exhilarating run toward the Super Bowl. In the end, whether you're a diehard Dallas supporter or just an NFL enthusiast keeping tabs on league-wide developments, the potential arrival of Brian Burns is a conversation starter. It's a game changer. It's the kind of signing that gets fans talking, analysts theorizing, and rival teams planning contingencies. The rumor that Burns has already inked a deal and is ready to lead the Cowboys into a new defensive era isn't just exciting. It's a full-blown narrative that could dominate headlines, Twitter feeds, and locker room conversations for months. As the NFL world waits for confirmation, the buzz continues to grow, the speculation intensifies, and one thing becomes increasingly clear. If Burns really is joining Dallas, the Cowboys' defense isn't just getting stronger, it's getting a swagger, an edge, and a presence that could very well redefine their identity in the league. So buckle up, because if these whispers hold any truth, we're looking at the start of a defensive renaissance in Dallas, a time when the name Brian Burns could be mentioned alongside the greatest pass rushers to ever suit up in silver and blue. Whether it's scheme innovation, leadership, or just sheer highlight reel plays, the narrative is building, the excitement is palpable, and the rumor mill is telling us one thing loud and clear: the Cowboys are on the brink of something big, something that might just reshape the NFL landscape, and Brian Burns is the name at the center of it all. The chatter won't die down anytime soon, and neither will the anticipation, because in a league that thrives on drama, speed, and disruption, the potential of this signing has every ingredient to become a story we'll be talking about long after the season kicks off. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates, only here on NFL News Now.